Hey everybody, this is Robert from Merit Systems International, and it's the 17th of April 2021. The topic of today's video is interpretation of home of origin graphics, or home of origin results, including the graphics. And this is going to be a two-part series. The second one will incorporate not only home of origins, but a number of other assessments, and I'm going to take you through and show you how they all connect together. So let's get started here before we lose track of time. The results have been completely rewritten for home of origins. My latest addition is this table here, and the table is integral to understanding the results. The first thing you have to understand is that no amount of scoring from here on over is considered normal or good or whatever. So even this abandonment score down here of 5, it's very low, but there might be some issues from it. This one here, potential abuse, 22. There's a potential there that there's something going on. So it doesn't have to be a high score. Any score in any area is enough to cause a problem in a person's life. Now, of course, the more extreme you see, and this scale here goes up to 100, so the more you see that number get closer to 100, the more you're going to realize that there are serious issues. These 3 bars on the right-hand side, this first one here is the average of all of this stuff. It does not include suicide, personal behaviors, personal emotions. They're excluded. The stuff on the left-hand side is the reality of the home in which a person grew up. The stuff on the right-hand side is how that stuff appears to be affecting them or may to some degree be affecting the person's behaviors. That's what this box is. And emotions. We'll look at what that means in just a second. So the higher these scores are, and really a rule of thumb for me is when the personal behavior or the emotion score exceeds the average, there's activity as far as all of this having an effect on behaviors and emotions. Basically, the imprint is active on the behaviors and or the emotions of the person. So let's look at real scores. What I have done, I've done an extensive statistical analysis of the results here, and I've got chi-squares to show that degrees of freedom 4, so there's 4 different groups. All of these scores are parametric. None of them fail a chi-square, so that's good. You can rely on the fact that these results are sound. I have plugged in the statistics behind the scenes here, but I have refrained from using the term average because I don't want to say that a person has an average amount of abuse. No abuse is acceptable, so 0 is a good score there. A score anything more than 0 means that the person experienced some type of abuse, whether it's small or whether it's 100. There's some type of abuse, and that may have an effect on them in the future. What I have done is I have colored the boxes. So the first thing you have to know here is any score is potentially bad, is potentially impacting on personal behaviors, as you see right here. All of these boxes can and will be colored at certain levels. 70th to 84th percentile is yellow. The 85th to 93rd percentile is light red, and the bold red is reserved for 94th percentile. Only 6% of all people score above that, and if you know statistics, you know that's probably in a real-life standardized world somewhere around 1.5 standard deviations above the mean. So you don't have to worry about those numbers. just know if it's yellow, you can see where it's at here. If it's light red, it's 85 and above. If it's bold, it's 94 and above, which only 6% of the people in the population statistically score in that range. But since, like I say, no score is good, and what I have done is just arbitrarily picked 1/3 as what I consider to be something you need to take a look at. That's a teal bar down here. Anything above 33, 34 and above is going to give you a teal bar to kind of say, watch it with this score. And you'll notice down here, this one has the yellow bar because that falls into the 70th percentile. So anything under this is less than a third of the maximum score of 100. Although when you look at it and take it all into consideration, it may still have an impact on a person's life. So that's how the scoring works here. And the current personal issues, suicidal ideations, personal behaviors, personal emotions, those are excluded from the mean. And let's look at personal behaviors here. The personal behaviors are really, this second paragraph is an extraction of the actual questions. So this is not guessing, this is not projecting out and saying, well, maybe, this might be happening. These are the questions put in paragraphical form that they answered yes to. So timidity, tendency to avoid people, and if you understand the PSA, right there it's avoidant. That's an avoidant person. People don't really care. Tend to pull people in, push people away. That's borderline. Endless breakup cycles and making up. That's either histrionic or borderline. Perfectionism, of course, that's OCD. And rules must always be obeyed, that's OCD. So you see, these are the active things that are happening in this person's life. These are not things that took place in childhood. Those are measured up here in this section. So you will see again, the second paragraph tends to define almost verbatim the questions that they responded to. So there's no trickery here, there's no projection, there's no, well, maybe it means this. These are the questions that they answered to get them this score. And you will notice that each of these paragraphs are different. This one, parental neglect, is really a devastating thing to somebody, chronic and debilitating. Emotional issues in the home will cause emotional issues in life. Hostile environment will either cause cowering or it will cause hostility and maybe some clinical anger issues. Adverse parenting, again, there's some personality issues that may occur here. I think this is not the one with lack of empathy. This is OCD here. So you get an idea, and then down at the bottom, of course, this has been in here forever and will always remain to be part of it. There are a number of questions. I think there's 28 of them asking point blank issues and not put on a scale. These are all yes or no questions in the assessment. So you can see exactly what transpired in the home that may have caused an issue. So I wanted to go over this, and down at the bottom you've got a little more of a refresher to tell you about the scoring. I wanted to go over the scoring of this first before I did the second video, which I'm going to start here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to end this video now, and we'll go on to part two. Make sure you listen to both. The second one is going to be extraordinarily dynamic as we tie all these things together.